like, the parole officer needed this like a week ago, okay? Out of a courtesy, I gave them 2 days to respond. Didn't respond, so I had to move forward in a different direction. Things like this is a request on me, Michelle, Eva, Keegan, and I'm sure it's going to start happening with Ryan and Catherine from Workforce needing documents. And then the hang-ups on us on why are we not providing said documents, right? So it's, again, looking badly on our program as a whole. Why? Because someone decided they didn't want to check an email, or maybe not wanted to check an email. It's just not part of the
priority. They feel
right.
like it's not priority.
Right.
And that's all we're asking, is just to make it a priority. That's it.
And the student, for the student's sake, they got to be a priority.
And just looking at it, the student, yes, we want to take care of them, but we are a business, and so if we're in partnership with all these different people within the community, and then when we can't give them things that they need, it absolutely makes them think, what are y'all doing? Why come I can't give this? So that all we're asking you to do is just make it a priority. So I'm requesting 24 hours. Your direct supervisors may be okay with 48, but if I send you an email, I don't really email a lot of you, so if I email you, trust me, it is probably very important if I email you. And I'm just requesting that you respond to me within 24 hours, because I don't just email people to email people. I always email people with a concern, or I need something, or even just maybe just say, I've heard that you did something really well and want to congratulate you on that as well. Okay, so communication is a huge deal. I don't know. It might make it on there anyway, but we'll see. All right, next.
Our last one was
Attitude. It is good. All of us can get messed up. And
the end of the 8 weeks, the survey that students do, that could be one of the questions on there.
Yeah, all of us have the ability to be emotional. And sometimes we're having a good day, sometimes we're having a bad day. I get really quiet whenever I'm not in a good mood. I don't do a lot of talking. I try, because I don't want to be ugly with people, right? So, but that still doesn't make it right, because that still makes people uncomfortable whenever I'm not talking to anybody. So that still is not the correct way to respond. So just being aware of attitude, it's a big deal. It makes it rough for others around you when you have a nasty attitude. Is that it? All right, next thing.
We have student attendance.
I will track that.
And student retention.
We'll track that.
We kind of said those two because that kind of reflects the teacher's attitude, and also if the student's attendance reflects on the instructor, you're much more likely to chase that. If you're like, oh, Steve's not here, doesn't matter to me.
Like the way you're thinking, man, you're right. If you have a good attitude, if you have a good relationship with your students, they go above and beyond for you. I believe that. I have students on Facebook who still reach out to me when they are completed their associate's degree. They say, thank you, I could have never done it without you. I had folks, I had a chick in my class who had an A, and she missed 2 days in a row. And I'm like, what's going on? So I text her immediately, where are you at? That's how I talk to her, where are you at? And she says to me, I'm having a hard time, I don't know if I'm coming back to school. And I was like, girl, you got an A in my class. You will not be coming to class. What's going on? She ended up telling me that the dude she was dating, her children's father, he left her, they didn't have anywhere to stay, and she was trying to figure out where to take her and her children. I took her over to the ARC. They gave her some emergency funding, and she was able to continue to go to school. So I always say to people, do they matter to you or don't they matter? This particular individual could have, forget the grade, she could have been destitute, and we were able to help her get into an apartment. So you just never know. So again, I just encourage you to reach out to your students and see what's going on with them. Okay.
And, student progress, teacher responsibilities, paperwork, and deadlines.
Okay, Cassandra, on this third sheet of paper, let's write down what our evaluation is gonna look like. So we absolutely say, administrative duties, paperwork. That is number one. So how are we deciphering teacher responsibilities with I think, what are we saying? Give me some details on what would be teacher responsibility.
We've got following curriculum up there, I think that's part of their responsibility.
Yeah, following the curriculum.
Yeah, that goes to be being prepared.
Having the material prepared for the day.
So these are some things that we can, we're gonna make a rubric on how to grade. So maybe under teacher responsibilities, it will be curriculum, time. Yeah.
Being professional. The communication, professionalism.
So once we have this completed, we'll share with you what the rubric looks like. Mighty Cruz will be working on this.
Are we gonna put following curriculum under teacher responsibilities?
Yeah, we're gonna say that that's gonna be a. Yeah. What's another one that had?
PE, professional development.
So here's the deal.
That's an
Yeah, and honestly, y'all are only required 15 hours here through us, through the grant. You're only required 15 hours per year annually. And that would be the only thing that we would really grade you over on that piece. Did you get your 15 hours? So we can just put that would be another under teacher responsibility.
Did that number of hours change, or has it always been 15?
It's always been 15 as long
For
as
some reason I
I've
have
been.
12 in my mind.
Oh, as long as I've been here.
They might be
Did it
thinking
used
of
to be
the
24? Wow.
There's 24 if you have a
exemption.
bachelor's and 15 or 12 if you have a master's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's pre me, I guess, or I don't remember.
And they might also be thinking about exemptions if they have enough hours on their transcript.
Oh, then,
Mhm.
so there is an exemption that you get if you have 18, or more hours on your transcript in a content area like,
English.
English, EDC, math, writing, things like that, any kind of math. You are exempt from 6 hours of the 15, so you really only have to do 9, but we still kind of make everybody do 15, don't we? Anyway.
We told you those guys last, don't do it again.
Well, the thing is, because we do it here during this day, I think we
Right.
try to get
Yeah.
clear it all up.
So if you've done the PAL and ACOSIS training, plus yesterday and today, you're gonna have your 15 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yesterday and today count?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, this is our annual professional, we do this to give you information, but we also do this because we know many of you are part-time and you don't have time to just do professional development over and over again, so we just try to get it all in one quick swoop. And 5. I'm liking communication. But that would be,
Teacher responsibility.
yeah. So perhaps we can, Mighty Cruz she's gonna be the one responsible for completing this. She's an educator, so she'll be thinking just like the vast majority of you, I would think. So we'll just leave 5 empty. And we'll put a lot of these things, we're gonna make a rubric and share that with you, so you will know fully what will be expected and there won't be any surprises to you. All right, so we're done with that. Let's move on to the next one.
When you come to visit, will it be a surprise visit or a scheduled visit?
I don't know, we haven't thought about that. Okay, so tell me as an educator, what do you like? When I used to be evaluated, Edie Carter would tell me she was coming. So, it's up to, what's your preference?
We have like walkthroughs, so our principals can come through and just walk through, and they're still looking at what we're doing with the evaluation rubric, but it's kind of, they're just making notes and things, and then we would sit and visit if there was something that needed to be improved. And then there's a window when we have the actual sit down 1 hour evaluation.
Gotcha.
Well, I can tell you when we did oh, sorry.
Why can't you give this surprise visit and take testing and all of that? So that you don't have it on day when you're actually
Absolutely.
waste your time, especially if you're going out there.
You can
Yep.
always say, I might come here this.
Oh, that's nice.
If you give a week window, then we can reply with, okay, that's great, but on Tuesday, I'm testing and that'll.
I think that'd be good.
I think that's, okay, I will. Do we have an agreement? Do y'all think that that's, acceptable? Give you a week notice and you let us know a day that, within that week that won't work for you. All right, there we go. Okay, next thing, let's make the deal. So, we're gonna get in groups of 5 again, but with people you haven't met today, or you haven't met in these last 2 days. We wanna shake it up a little bit. So get with people that you don't know. And now we're going to put a percentage on these 4 areas that we are going to be evaluating you on. Nothing can be less than 15%, and the teacher evaluation must have the largest percent on it. Does that make sense? So nothing can be less than 15%, and the teacher evaluation has to be the heaviest weighted. All right? And we're gonna fill these in after you come up with those averages, or those percentages. Any confusion?
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Say it again.
From a 100% scale, I want you to say, what do you want the weight to be on evaluate for the annual evaluation? What do you want it to be on for the attendance piece? What do you want it to be on for the midterm and final grades? And then for the EFL games? What would you like to see those weighted
So
at?
the annual evaluation is more focused just on the teacher, the other are measures that really relate to students.
Well,
Is that, I mean.
they relate to students within your coursework.
Right, I understand
Within
the
your
teachers
class.
involved, but the annual evaluation is just how you're going to evaluate the teacher.
Yes.
And
Well,
so
now, when you say annual evaluation, is that the day that the
We come in.
observing teacher, that's a 1-day assessment?
Correct. Correct. Well, I mean, it's really overtime when you think all of it. So the administrative duties, we're gonna be knowing if you're not doing your stuff. We're gonna know if you're not communicating. We're gonna know all of that stuff comes throughout the year. But the one we come in and actually view your classroom is just a 1-day
But
thing.
that assessment is gonna kind of be culminate in 1 day.
It'll be over the year,
You know.
over the year based on what we put within the rubric, and then that 1 day. That 1 day coming in just to view your class. But attendance, and I'll go over this with you in a sec, how we'll be tracking that to look at it. The midterms, how we'll be looking at that, and then the EFL games, how we'll look at that as well. So you get in groups of 5 different folks, shake it up, and you guys put the weighted average.
Students
It's just students. I mean, if the teacher not there, that's gonna be under their annual evaluation.
Yeah, no, we'll put it on there.
I'll jump in.
Just turn your paper over, right up the back.
Okay, so where's the handwriting?
Teacher, the annual evaluation has to have the heaviest weight on it. It will be more than all of them together, all the other three, but nothing can drop below 15%.
Do it that way or do it like, I did mine before we already had all and I'm not very good at writing. Well, okay, so what is that, remember that 4 that you put up there?
Do we have some control over that?
Well, I think that everybody, yeah.
We write it down.
Like if you're learning something, it matters if you're learning, it matters if you feel like that, yeah, all of those things matter.
Do you think it's more important than the EFL games?
I'm gonna say 40 on the evaluation. The attendance meeting, maybe we should take the evaluation back to 35. And then so you can do a little more on the test. 35 and then let's do.
It's per your class, there's a report that we run in teams. It's called Table 4B, and it says specifically your students that took a pre-test and your students that took a post-test, and the percentage of them that made it. So it's I would be able to pull that report.
But they can test in all subject levels, right? They can test over if they don't make the gain in one, like if they don't make the gain in math, then they can take it in English. So they have 3 chances.
Right, it'll contribute to the other.
And all your students know. Oh wait, never mind. We're going to classes. I don't, but I'm not. They said I'm not going to classes. They said I'm still
I was going to have it to
I had no idea what classes were.
So it's been 25 and
Some
30.
instructors only teach level 1. So it wouldn't affect me, so I had to just do it. So you guys make
But that's my problem is after they get their GED, sometimes they don't come back to take their post.
Well, actually what will happen is, that's still a possibility. I would still look at that, because we're gonna be looking, tracking GED completion. I could care less about the EFL game, but it's a grant requirement, they pay us, so.
It's a number you
I
have to
talk
look at.
about, right, but what's important, the GED. Yeah, so if I'm looking at that, I'm like, they got 7 GED classes, and these people didn't take a post test, it doesn't matter.
I'm not. I am.
But attendance means they can't pass one. Attendance means they don't get EFL. Attendance means no That's the overall.
Definitely an exception.
25% off. But one has to be on evaluation.
actual, we just take 5 points from one of them. It'll be 30, it'll be 25, and the last one will be 20.
High schools don't even do it, so it's such a hassle.
Which is the most important one?
Why? It's never mattered at any point in our life.
Some people can make
What's
A's
gonna
on
be
their
30,
things,
and
but not
technically
every
20. And the term finals will be 25, and the year finals will be 25.
I didn't go to college. Very often. Bad year. Rewind. Start over.
Sure, you said. So, for the annual evaluation, how important is it when you have teachers who don't keep up, teachers who don't keep up with paperwork, how draining is it as a part of a team and as a leader? Because it is such a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly management heavy because of the amount of time to chase down folks that goes into that.
Like I
I
was
would
saying.
rather reward positive behavior instead of having to get on the bad behavior.
So I
And
know-
I don't have time to reward positive behavior and have to chase down paperwork continuously. And then the 15th of every month is data sign. So if she doesn't have it in here by the 15th, it's not going to get it. So even though we serve those students, drew down money with the state, really, we don't get reimbursed for serving that stuff. So then you talk about the legalities of that, right? And I don't even want to think about it. But that's the proper limit. If the sign-in sheets aren't turned in, the data's not validated. The 15th, it's done. So that's why we want weekly, Friday, and
So what's the title
So,
of
yeah.
this? Is this teacher evaluation?
Our annual evaluation, where we're graded on, paperwork, responsibilities.
So I'm looking at these things and thinking, are there any of these
I would say.
I understand the importance of all of it, but does it really evaluate?
That would go into your, when you go into the classroom or your evaluation. Like someone is in there, if Ryanetta comes in and observes your classroom, that would be looking at your teaching style, right? Which would go part of your, a component of your annual
One of the
evaluation.
ones that we chose as one of our highest measures was teacher responsibilities.
Which is gonna be part of, that's gonna go under your annual evaluation. All of these things here are in your annual evaluation. And also part of that is the observation.
Okay.
So I
the
think-
annual evaluation that is not just the one day
No,
that comes.
it's these things
it's all of
additional.
these. Okay, that makes me feel much better.
Well, yeah, part of it was what I think they've had to tell me and I've had to learn is teaching is not just teaching. Teaching is the administrative, keeping up with your responsibilities. That's why evaluation, though it may be one day out of whatever, it's
Yeah,
really
but that's
not.
what she just told me, it's not.
Right.
It's all the discussions.
Plus 1 day of observation. Right. So here's the thing, you can be an amazing instructor, right? You can be an amazing first grade teacher. You don't take roll. How long do you think you have a job? I mean, you don't have to tell me an answer on that, but just think about it. You know, if there's some catastrophe and your principal does not know where your children are, you're gonna deal with that principal and then 25 parents. Good luck with that.
I think so the evaluation should be 40. I don't think it's 50 or
Every other time I was put on just because I did always did algebra.
Full-time videographer now.
I hope I'm not graded on it.
like it did yesterday, huh?
Oh, yeah, several times. But this one, I can record and charge. The other one, you could only, one or the other.
In fact, I asked Bernetta about it, what to do. I just agonized over it. I'm not going to open the test. I worked for like 2 hours.
It still did?
I asked Bernetta what to do yesterday, went home last night. Fix this now, so I opened it up.
So this is how we're going. Can I get your attention? Alright, so this is how we're going to finish and complete this. We're going to we have 2 ways we can do this, and they're kind of in my brain like a math. I think they're still saying the same thing. We're going to take the total sum and average each one. So for everyone who said annual evaluation, we're going to add those all up and take the average of it. So we can do that, or the one that repeats the most. Either or. I think it's still the same thing, almost similar. All right. So David, you're our new math guy. Come up. You're gonna take the average of each of these. I will write them, and you can average it out and tell us what. Say it again. What did he say?
It doesn't count for his evaluation.
Yes, as long as you say yes.
Well, he's learning his math year. He's still starting math.
All right. Annual evaluation. This table, tell us your number. 35. 35. This table, 40. 40. 30. 30.
99.
40.
50. 35.
35. Okay. No, they say he's like seriously a whiz. That's why I caught him.
Super great.
Okay, we'll round it.
Go ahead.
You'll round up. No, I heard Marty Cruz told me a story about David Doe and Philip. That every time they would apply for scholarships, she would look in the scholarship pool and say, David Doe is applying for this scholarship. Supposedly he's a really smart guy.
No pressure.
That was just once.
Just one.
So what we get, 38?
So we got 38. So are we saying 40? 40%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to fill in as we're going?
Yes, please. Yeah, just click in the box here. 40%. All right. Next one. Attendance. This table. 20. 15.
20.
20.
30.
30. Ooh. 15. 25. Wow, I'm shocked. Anybody who said anything over 15, I'll be honest with you, I'm really shocked. Because so many people are like, dang, I can't make somebody come to class. Okay.
ask a question? I'm still new, I haven't actually started yet, but I was told out of the 3 absences, they're dropped. So since we have little control over some of that, is that gonna affect our annual evaluation?
This is a great question. Tell me your name.
Tori.
Tori said that we track students and after 3 absences, you're requested to just start over. You'll come back in the next 8 weeks. As we're making the rubric, one of the things, you have access in your Google Sheet to say what was going on with the student. So if you're at least tracking that and sharing that information with us, then that's gonna be a positive that you at least were doing what you were supposed to be doing. So we'll be looking at that. So, and we'll probably consider that as a drop or withdrawal, one of them. But we'll figure all that out. Again, we'll share with you how the rubric will look and how you'll be graded on that. Okay, so what did we say? 20. All right, cool, 20. Next one, midterms final.
You said 15.
15. Okay.
You said
15.
25.
25, y'all high. Confident over here. 15. 25, 15. 15, the next one?
20 bucks.
20. These 2 teams right here, y'all the outliers. Y'all making everything go outside the bell curve. We're
gonna have to round
Let's
one of them
see.
down, because
Yeah,
otherwise
we're gonna be up. Okay, let's leave it at 15. We might make it. It might go down to 15. Okay, last one. EFL game. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait to see what we get for the EFL game, and we'll know where we need to go with that. Okay. 30. 30, y'all.
25.
25. 15.
20.
Am I missing one?
You got 30, 30, 25, 15, 20. 20.
Mathematically, according to our thing, it can't be more than 15. I mean, just
So
do the math.
that has to be 15 exact. If the EFL game is
40, 20.
40%.
Okay, so we have, so it looks, 40, 60. We only have 40% left.
30%.
20, 40, 60.
We have 40.
So we have 40% left.
Yeah.
So it looks like we can just say both can be 20. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have it. We came up with a collective decision, so no one's mad whenever we're grading. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, let's finish it out. I don't have, yes. Yeah, y'all can go back to your table and stay where you're at. It doesn't matter. Okay, yeah. Bye.
Yeah. But I put it back. I didn't think you sit on the floor.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you what the college is going to be looking at us. As I shared with you yesterday, we will, based off of getting our students into college, we will now, this college will now follow us. And these are just, so these right here are things that the college follows every student who comes into Amarillo College. FTIC just means first time in college, and they track gender, race, age, and then they do this risk assessment score on the students, and it falls into a lot of different things. I don't know all of them. I asked her this morning, did she remember them?
Yeah, so it's like, like 10 data points that the college looks at, like, are you a first generation student? Okay. Income, right? Is poverty an issue? You know, children, things that are potential barriers, right? Are you couch surfing? You know, in a sense, homeless, right? All of these things, they compile together and give you a risk assessment score. So meaning we need to be looking at you based on how you're coming into us, right? So yeah, that's kind of how I understood it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's just the college. We will be in aggregated data from that. One of the things that the college, I think monthly, they have a meeting with the Board of Regents, and they share with the Board of Regents how the college is doing. They give them like a report card on the college. Now during that time, because it's called IDS, and I always forget what the acronym stands for, but they're gonna make us an IDS. And now this year moving forward, they will share with the Board of Regents, what do we look like and what's going on. So persistence, retention, and completion, and EPTIC all kind of goes together. It's like aggregated, but one of the things that they will actually be sharing with the Board of Regents will be these 3 factors right here for adult education. Matriculation into the college, how many of our students are actually enrolling into the college, how many are actually completing their GED, and then what programs are our students going into. So that, just so you know, FYI, I just wanted to share that with you. We're not grading on that, but the college absolutely will be looking at this as a whole for our program annually now. And I want to share with you how will we be collecting this data. So institutional research, Google Drive we will be tracking student attendance and the grades in Google Drive. Teams, this is our student management system per TWC, who is our grantor. All of you can have access to Teams. You should have access to Teams. You signed a P41, you completed your FERPA, and so as long as you did those 2 things, you can now have access to Teams. The report that if you want to see it on your own, that you would want to check your EFL gain, it is called Table 4B. Table 4B, if you want to check and see if your students are making that 65% or greater.
Is that the same for USL?
Yes, it's all across the board. GED Manager, anyone can have access to GED Manager. All you have to do is shoot me an email. I send your credentials up to the state administrator, and they give you access to GED Manager for Amarillo College site. The only thing we ask you to use is your Amarillo College email address as your username. I think that's, as your username. Other than that, there's no protocol on getting access to it. Anybody can have access to it if you want. And I encourage you to request it. Many people don't, but I encourage you to request access to it if you like it.
What's on?
GED Manager, it tells us how many students have taken a test, which area, if they've been successful. It tells us how many students have taken a practice test, which area, if they're successful. It also tracks accommodations, if they've been granted to the student, accommodations as far as disabilities, and then they also put accommodations for students who are 16 through 17, 18-year-olds, they don't fall into that range. 16 and 17-year-olds have to request permissions to use the system, so it tracks that and lets you know what stage that it's in, that kind of stuff.
Right.
You can't input any data. Everyone is just read access only. You can run reports.
So just 2 minutes real quick. So I earlier, it was about a week ago, I asked Catherine, I was like, hey, let's look at all of our folks, right, on GED Manager and see who's lacking one test, right? one test only. Let's reach out, get them in, let's complete them, okay? Well, in that process, I found one of Lana's student, Miss Ernesta? Yes. And it tells me all the times where Ernesta has tested. She has been trying her little heart out, right? So me and Lana came up with a plan to help her, right? How do we know this stuff? Having access to GPA. Okay, I mean, each one of these lines is the time she's tested. And these aren't ready tests. She's going to the testing center. That's $32, and then half of that's a retest. So she's just spending her little money. Not her, sorry, I don't mean to talk like that, but it just breaks my heart to see this. So we came up with a plan. We're gonna help her out. But how would we know this if we didn't have access to GED Manager? Okay.
Yeah, you can track your own. You can
Your
put
own
in your
students.
students' names and it'll pull up their information. The other great thing I really love about GD Manager is that it will print you off a diagnostic.
Yes.
So if your student has taken a test, they did not pass, you can go in and select what book that your student is learning out of, and it will print out a diagnostic and say, your student on page 15, they need to work on fractions. Student on page 13, you need to work on percents. It will print you out a very precise, specific diagnostic. So it's a really good tool. But again, you just have to request access to it and you can have it. Just request the access. And then the evaluation being built currently, we started off today. We put in the percentages, we put in the data points that we'll be tracking, and then we'll also make the rubrics. It will be myself, Teresa, Ronetta, and Marty Cruz who will do your annual evaluation when we come and visit your class. And we also said that we will give you a week notice and tell you the week that we want to come, and you'll have to communicate with us if there is a day that's not good for you.
Excuse me, how do we get into GED Manager? Is that in Teams?
No, it's a completely different system. All you have to do is, first you have to go and make a GED account. Once you make the GED account, then you will, and make the account with your your actx.edu email address. That'll be your username. Once you make that account, all you have to do is say, hey, Michelle, I made the account. Here is my email address. I have to shoot it up to the director, and then they grant you access.
So y'all are gonna download all of it for us and kind of keep a running account?
No.
GED scores and...
So all of the students who have their GED.com accounts, all of that information comes out of there. It's just a portal for us to go and look at our students. That's it. We don't do anything. We don't put any information in there. It all comes from the student's GED account. It's a whole complete different system from us.
So it connects you with their GED
scores.com.
Exactly.
Scores.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can run reports, you can download reports, you can put it in Excel sheets. So as we're talking about that, Lana, I want to give you a major shout out because you had the most completions of all instructors here in Amarillo. The most completions.
Oh,
yeah.
GEDs, you mean?
GED completions, yes you did. Yeah. I ran that report just the other day, and I shared it with your president, Dr. Hicks, Joe Hicks. All right, so then this last part, we want to know, how do we communicate? How do we do better? What are we not doing right, and how can we better serve you? So there are different ways that we can do that. So I kind of want to get your opinion on how do we get feedback? How do we get you to actively engage with us? Do you want it that we send you out a question and you respond? Just you kind of shoot some opinions and tell us what's going on, a survey, like a comment box, a rating system. We share with you results and that's enough for you. advice, ideas. So how would you like to see us staying in contact with each other so that we're having continuous improvement as well within how we are connected with each other? Would y'all like? I mean, I know, again, most people are part-time, so they don't want just yet another thing to do. But if you have a concern, how would you like to share that with us? Email. Just email? All right. That was easy. We're done.
Why don't we take 5 minutes, right? And then Eva and Keegan are